What's going on, everybody? My name is Barmine and this is Barmine Tech, and today we're going to be talking about how to set up Pi-Hole on your new home lab. So we're going to get right into that. So if you're not familiar with Pi-Hole typically gets installed on a Raspberry Pi, and it acts as the DNS server that helps block malicious ads and other bad links that you don't want to access in your home network. So like I said, typically you would install it on a Raspberry Pi, but since we can't get it, we're going to install it on our new home lab, and we're going to use Docker to make it even better. So let's get right into it. So if we come back over to Portainer, which we set up in the last video, we just need to get one more thing in case you missed it. So we're going to come over to Nova Spirit's Pi-hosted GitHub right up, and we're going to make sure we have the link for the app template. So I'm using AMD 64. I'm going to copy that one. We're going to come over to Portainer. I'm going to go to Settings, and I'm going to make sure my app template has the right one. I already have it, but you can paste it there if you need it. So from there, we're going to come over to App Templates. I already searched for Pi-Hole, so I have it right here. Before we could deploy this container, I do need to do one thing. So I'm going to come over here to Tech Bandit's write-up for how they installed Pi-Hole. And we need this command right here. So Ubuntu on a virtual machine runs its own DNS resolver, and we need to stop that so Pi-Hole can run. So we're going to copy this link. I'm going to terminal in SSH into our actual Ubuntu machine. I'm going to right-click, paste, and you would have to sudo it, but I'm already sudo. So now we just stop the DNS resolver on the machine. So we're all done with that one. We can minimize it. We come back over to our Portainer. We're all set to deploy this container now. So after I go in there, I'm just going to click deploy container. As you can see, it was successful. We're going to wait for the container to start up. Now it might take a minute or two for Pi-Hole to come up as running and healthy, but don't worry, that's fine. So while we do that, we're going to come over here, and these are our ports that are established for Pi-Hole. So we're going to open the 1010:81, and that's going to bring us to this page, and we're going to go to the admin panel, so we're going to click on that one. So this is your first login page you'll see when you come into Pi-Hole, and we do need a password for it. So we're going to come back over to Pi-Hole, we're going to click on the logs, I'm going to turn off auto refresh, and I'm going to scroll up, and I'm going to find where my password is. When we deploy it in a Docker container, the auto password comes in and gives us in these logs. So we're going to look for a password, and I'm not seeing mine, so we're going to do this. I'm going to come back to containers, and I'm going to come into the shell, so it's the second icon from the end. I'm going to connect, and we're going to use the command PiHole tech A tech P. Then we're going to enter a new password. I'm going to enter my password again, and now my new password is set. So if you don't see your password show up in your logs, you could do the same thing that I just did. We're going to come back over to Pi-Hole, type in our new password, and this is our new PiHole dashboard. So when you first log in, this is the things you're going to see right away. So I actually already had Pi-Hole running before, so mine's going to have some different numbers than yours might in the beginning. I'm going to show you how to set all this up. So on this home page, you get a lot of different data, and it's showing us all the different information that passed through our DNS. So these are how many actual queries the DNS server hit, how many queries are blocked, our percentage, and our ad lists that are on being blocked. So to start, I'm going to show you how to add different lists to be blocked. So we're going to come over to this website called Firebug, and Firebug is a great site. It has all these different links for the domains to be blocked in Pi-Hole. The ones with green check marks are the ones they say are the best, and then the other ones, they can't guarantee they're going to work as well or interfere if you're network browsing. So I would suggest using the green ones. So we could just come over here, and we're going to copy the green ones. So like these ones right here are going to block suspicious links, these are going to block ads, tracking, and other stuff, and these are just malicious sites. Pi-Hole won't block YouTube ads, so don't be surprised when you set up Pi-Hole and you come over and your YouTube ads still show. So we're going to add these links to our block list. So I come back into our Pi-Hole dashboard, I'm going to come over to add lists, and we're going to paste in our URLs. So I'm going to click add. So mine are already in there, so it's going to show you duplicates, but yours would say successful. After you add all of the ad lists you want to add in, we're going to come over to tools, and we're going to select update gravity. So when you update gravity, it's going to update all your domains on your ad list. So we're going to click update, and this might take a few minutes to do, so we'll come back when it's all done. So when Gravity is all done updating, you're going to come over here and you're going to get successful. So that means all your ad lists have been successfully updated. So hopefully you would come back over here to your dashboard and you're going to see your domains on ad list number increase by a lot. So I think when you first start on, the ad list is about 400,000, and then after I added my original links from Firebug, it was about almost 900,000. So that's the basic one. So then we're going to also show you one other thing. So if you come into an issue that you can't resolve a site, saying you can't reach it or it's having an issue resolving it, we're going to come over here to domains. So in this part is where you could add in sites to be whitelisted or blacklisted. So if you need to add a site to be whitelisted, so let's copy Firebug just for an example. Come back into our dashboard. We're going to add the domain. We're going to remove the slash, and we're going to remove all this in the beginning. So firebug.net is the domain for the website, and we're also going to check off if there's any subdomains. So if it has any links to click off of that main website, so they don't get blocked as well. And then if you want to block the website, you could add it to your blacklist or you could add it to your whitelist. I'm going to add it to my whitelist so I could always access this site. If you have something, let's say kids in the house, you don't want them on a certain website, you could go on and you could block it. There's more settings to go off the blocking, but I'm not really familiar with it. I'm just into the main stuff of how to use it to my benefit. So after we finished all that, now Pi-Hole is all set up and we're ready for us to set it for a host. So there's a couple different ways that you can set it for a host. You can come over into your router. So after you log into your router admin page, you're going to get something similar probably to this, depending on who makes your router. Before you get excited, this actually isn't my public IP. I'm behind a double NAT, so you don't have my public IP, so sorry about that. But you're going to look for an option that says LAN, and typically that'll say where your DNS server is. So I'm going to click on LAN, and usually we tie DNS to DHCP, so I'm going to click on DHCP. And you can see over here DNS server, and this is me pointing to my other instance of Pi-Hole, but you would put your Pi-Hole IP address right here so your router knows to use it. So if you want to just double check, this is your portainer GUI, this is the IP for the machine, and this is where we want to set it to go back into our DNS so we can point our router to use DNS. There's also another option, so if we come over here, we can go in our network settings on Windows machines. Want to right click and go to network and internet settings. If you have a router that you can't access the web portal, so some ISPs will block it and they don't let you change your DNS server. Mine typically does, but I have run a double router setup in my house so I can change it. On Windows 11 you're going to click an Ethernet option. We're going to come down to DNS server assignment. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to change it to manual. I'm going to use IPv4. And my preferred DNS is going to be 192.168.50.60. I'm going to save that. And now we look down, we can see that this is my DNS server that my Windows 11 machine will now be using. So if I close that back out, I come back into Pi-Hole. If I start hitting some sites, I'll go to Yahoo. If I can type. So now we see Yahoo. Typically this would be full of ads, and you can see the outline of the ad is still there, but it doesn't show because it's getting blocked. So I come back over, we can see that queries are getting hit and they're also being blocked while we look. So we can see that Pi-Hole is working, and it would be the same thing if your router uses it versus the Windows machine that you're working on or whatever Windows computer you're working on. But Pi-Hole will continue. We can see it's still increasing as it blocks. I know this was a quicker tutorial, but I think Pi-Hole is one of those tools you definitely need to have in your home lab, especially to help in your home network. So just want to show you a quick way of how to install it using Docker and configure it with all the options that I use typically in my Pi-Hole setups. Like I said, I've been using this for a few years now, and I've run into issues every now and then, but it's usually something that I messed up. So hope you like that. We're going to keep adding more Dockers to our home lab, and we're going to keep adding more projects to our home lab. So make sure to subscribe and keep checking out the videos, because there's going to be plenty more coming up. Thanks for watching.